Let's get right into it. Number 10. The game of throwing metal spikes. Imagine spotting what looks like oversized darts at a 1970s yard sale. These were lawn darts, basically javelin missiles designed to look like toys. Each dart was about 1 foot long and weighed as much as a can of soup. The tip was pure metal, sharp enough to pierce straight through a watermelon or a human skull. The game was simple. Throw the dart up in the air and try to land it in a plastic ring on the ground, just casually tossing deadly weapons into the sky at family barbecues. When the first injuries started happening, manufacturers didn't recall them. They just added a warning label that said, "Maybe don't throw these at people." It's like putting a "please don't use as a weapon" sticker on a sword. In 1987, a 7-year-old girl named Michelle Snow was killed by a lawn dart. Her father launched a crusade against them, gathering injury statistics and speaking to Congress. In just an 8-year period, lawn darts had sent 6,100 people to the emergency room. The game was finally banned in 1988. Number 9. The accountants who put a price on human life. The Ford Pinto had a deadly design flaw, known to Ford before it even hit the market. In pre-production crash tests, engineers found that in a rear-end collision, the unprotected fuel tank could easily rupture and ignite. The doors would often jam shut from the impact, trapping people inside what was essentially a 4-wheeled oven. The cost to fix the problem? An estimated $11 per car. Ford chose to produce the car anyway, without the fix. The most infamous part of the story is the Pinto memo. Years after the car was on the road, the U.S. government proposed new, tougher safety standards. Ford submitted a cost-benefit analysis arguing against the new rules. In that memo, Ford used the NHTSA's own official figure for the societal cost of a traffic death, $200,000. They calculated that paying for an estimated 180 deaths and 180 injuries would cost about $49,500,000, while the cost to fix all the cars would be $137 million. They used the government's own math to argue that it was cheaper to let people die than to implement the new safety standard. After a 1977 Mother Jones article exposed the memo and the pre-production tests, public outrage exploded. Ford finally recalled 1.5 million Pintos in 1978. By then, the official death toll was 27, though some estimates place it much higher. Number 8. The toy that put kids in comas. Back in 2007, there was this super popular toy called Aqua Dots. Kids would arrange colorful beads into patterns, spray them with water, and watch them magically stick together. It was creative, fun, and flying off the shelves. But here's where greed turned deadly. The company making these beads decided to cut corners. They were supposed to use a safe chemical called 1,5-pentanediol. Instead, a Chinese factory secretly swapped it for a cheaper one called 1,4-butanediol. When kids accidentally swallowed these beads, that chemical transformed into a powerful sedative in their bodies, the same substance that doctors use to knock people out for surgery. Parents started rushing their kids to hospitals when they found them unconscious. These kids weren't just taking a nap. They were in actual comas. One kid swallowed a bunch of beads and ended up unconscious for hours. When he finally woke up, he couldn't even remember his own name. His brain had been chemically shut down by a toy. The factory saved pennies per batch. The cost? Children's lives hanging in the balance. By the time they recalled these things, over 4 million sets had been sold worldwide. Number 7. The CEO who declared war on government safety and lost. Remember Buckyballs? Those fun little magnetic desk toys? Despite clear warnings that they were for adults only, kids kept swallowing them. When they did, these powerful magnets would attract each other through intestinal walls, causing life-threatening perforations. 2 powerful magnets playing tug-of-war with your insides. The Consumer Product Safety Commission, or CPSC, got reports of kids needing emergency surgery, so they asked CEO Craig Zucker to recall the product. Instead of complying, Zucker launched a campaign called Save Our Balls. He took out full-page ads mocking the government's safety concerns. His arrogance ultimately led the CPSC to make an example out of him. They didn't just go after his company. They went after him personally, holding him liable for the entire multi-million-dollar recall. Zucker ended up settling, and Buckyballs were banned. The company died, all because one CEO chose Save Our Balls over Save Our Customers. Number 6. The doll that wouldn't stop eating. This was a toy called the Cabbage Patch Snack Time Kid. It had this motorized mouth that could eat plastic snacks that came with the toy. The doll would munch away on these fake foods and then swallow them, making cute little eating sounds. But the designers forgot one tiny detail, an off switch. The doll's mouth worked with a one-way roller mechanism that pulled things in, but couldn't push them back out. And this doll wasn't picky about what it considered food: kids' fingers, hair, clothes. If it could fit in that mouth, the doll would try to eat it. And once it started eating, there was no way to make it stop. Parents had to literally rip the doll apart while their kids were screaming because it was eating their hair. In their recall announcement, Mattel said the dolls weren't defective. They were working exactly as designed. They just hadn't considered that kids might stick things other than plastic carrots in the doll's mouth. Number 5. The Burger King Pokémon disaster. Back in 1999, Burger King made plastic Pokeball containers for their kids' meals. The balls were about the size of a baseball and split into 2 halves to reveal a toy inside. But someone at Burger King forgot to think about what happens when you separate those halves. Each half was perfectly shaped to create an airtight seal over a child's mouth and nose. It's like they accidentally designed the world's most dangerous face mask. In December 1999, a 13-month-old girl died when half of the Pokeball got stuck on her face while she was playing. Burger King had to recall over 25 million of these death traps. They had to run ads on major TV networks and send warning notices to every pediatrician in America. Kids literally risked their lives for some cheap plastic Pokémon figures. Number 4. The inventor who sold real uranium to children. The Gilbert U-238 Atomic Energy Lab came with 4 samples of real uranium-bearing ore. This wasn't some bootleg toy. It was made by the A.C. Gilbert Company. The kit included a working Geiger counter, a cloud chamber to watch radiation particles, and an electroscope. The instruction manual had some interesting warnings. Don't break open the glass jars of uranium ore, and don't take the ore samples out of their containers. Just normal toy warnings for something that could cause radiation poisoning. The kit cost $49.50 in 1951, about $500 today, but price wasn't why it failed. Parents weren't thrilled about their kids playing with radioactive materials. The company only sold about 5,000 kits before pulling them from shelves. Today, this kit is often called the most dangerous toy ever made. We get nervous when kids eat dirt, but back then, they were literally handling radioactive materials. Number 3. The flying doll that attacked your face. In 1994, Galoob Toys decided that launching hard plastic dolls with razor-sharp wings at high speeds towards children's faces was a brilliant idea. The concept was simple: pull a string, and this fairy doll would spin into the air like a magical butterfly. But what actually happened was more like unleashing a plastic missile with an attitude problem. These things would shoot off in completely random directions. We're talking about broken teeth, facial lacerations, and temporary blindness. It took 7 years and over 150 injury reports before they finally recalled these aerial assassins. The company had to recall 8.9 million of these things. The original product testing was done in a controlled environment, not in bedrooms with ceiling fans or near grandma's expensive vase collection. Number 2. The Easy Bake Oven that burned kids. In 2006, Hasbro released a new Easy Bake Oven design. It was sleek, silver, and had a front-loading door just like a real oven. But this new design had a dangerous flaw. Kids would stick their hands through the front slot to push food closer to the heating element. Their hands would get stuck inside with a 400-degree heating element. The opening was just wide enough for a kid's hand to go in, but not wide enough to easily pull it out. 249 kids got their hands or fingers trapped. 77 of them got burns. One 5-year-old girl had to have part of her finger amputated. The company first tried adding warning labels, but after more kids got hurt, they recalled all 1 million ovens they'd sold. The most ironic part was the old design had been safer. They had made the product more dangerous just to make it look cooler. Number 1. The phone that exploded twice. The Galaxy Note 7 was supposed to be Samsung's next big thing, but this phone had a dark secret. It liked to catch on fire. We're talking full-on, your pants are on fire kind of explosions. Picture trying to stuff a king-size mattress into a twin-size bed frame. That's basically what Samsung did with their battery. They crammed too much power into too small a space, and when you squeeze a battery too tight, it gets angry. Samsung recalled all these phones and issued replacements, but the replacement phones started exploding too. This second batch of phones had a completely different battery problem. More fires, more explosions, more people running around with smoking pockets. Airlines banned the phone completely. Samsung had to kill the Note 7 forever. The whole fiasco cost Samsung about $5.3 billion, and all of this happened because someone decided to rush the design to beat Apple's iPhone 7 to market. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.